So we're here with Tom Marchment from Descent 133, who's going to talk us through a brand new concept really in gloves. Okay, so we're talking winter gloves, and do you want to tell us a little bit about the system, please?
Yeah, I mean, effectively, we obviously all ride, at the Rider Firm Descent, and we have to ride just like anyone does in the UK and quite a lot of the Northern Hemisphere in some pretty grotty conditions if we want to ride in the winter. Often we don't have the time to just pick and choose our ride days, and you often go out when it's nice weather and actually it turns into a not very nice day, and you don't have a choice. And obviously some people are different to others. Some people don't need very thick winter gloves, but as a fair proportion of people that we know and several of us at work suffer with is if it rains and your hands get wet, you get seriously cold hands, and to the point where your hands go numb, you get horrible pain.
Cold, right?
Yeah, the rest of you's cold, it's not helping. Gear shifting becomes a massive problem, braking is horrible, and it just ruins your ride. It's just not nice. And for years we've tried with different gloves. Obviously you've got big, thick, deep winter gloves, which are great for a certain condition, but they are relatively expensive and they're fairly redundant for a lot of your riding. And actually, say if the road conditions change, you're not necessarily going to want to take those off and put them in your back pocket, and then what do you ride in?
So what's different here then? What have you come up with?
Felt that there was an obvious thing that we all do with our upper body clothing, which is we all use a base layer, we all use a thermal mid layer, and quite often we'll have a waterproof or windproof outer layer to block the elements and keep the warmth inside. And we just felt that we could do something similar with winter gloves and have a really adaptable system.
So what have you come up with?
We've come up with the Descent 133. So Descent 133 means for descenting against the weather, and 133 days of rain is the average of rainfall in the UK,
right.
Which is obviously a fairly serious chunk of the year. But yes, that's where the name comes from. And so you've basically got a 100% silk base layer liner, which goes on. If I've given you the right glove, perfect. Look at that. And then you've got the Defeat E-Touch glove, which is a glove a lot of pro riders, a lot of road riders will know about and be familiar with. It's a seamless construction. It's an excellent thermal layer, and it's very flexible, so which means you get a lot of dexterity, and because the silk liner layer is so thin, you've got really good dexterity with the two. And this is a system that we would already use before we started working on this. We'd often wear a lightweight long finger glove underneath the Defeat glove.
Sure, liner gloves are nothing new particularly.
Exactly, but then we felt that system, if you could combine it with a really lightweight, flexible, thin outer layer that was durable but kept the water and the wind out, you would have a really good system for basically all of your non-summer riding. It would be a great flexible system. You could use the different layers just like you use on your upper body. And so this is our OutDry light outer gloves. This is our fully waterproof glove, which uses the OutDry technology, which is a membrane which is patented, owned by Columbia Sportswear, and it's a very flexible membrane that's bonded, highly breathable and waterproof, and it's bonded to the whole of the face of the glove. So it means it retains its position very well. The fingers don't pull out. It's got thousands of micro glue dots in there to hold it in place. And it's also a very flexible membrane. So it's quite a unique membrane that we've used there, and we had to work with those guys quite closely to get approval for our product and the project we're working on, but they really like what we're trying to achieve. A couple other key features about this glove: obviously you want to be able to get it on and off, so we've made it with a Schoeller four-way stretch material. It's a woven material, so it's very durable, but because it's four-way stretch, it stretches across your hand as you put it on and off when you're riding, so if you want to do that quickly. Also, it's got the quick open and close tab, so you can use your thumb, which I can't really do.
I can do it from this
Matt
side.
can do it from this side. You poke your thumb into the Velcro and pull with your other finger, so you can do it one-handed. And also, it's fully waterproof because that's all sealed, and because it opens really far up, it makes it wider, so you can get it over the widest part of your hand, so you can get on and off nice and easily. Sure. So really have thought about a lot of details. Other little things are, you've got a nose wiper, you've got reflective strip, you've got touch screen on the front, on the main finger.
And the idea is that you wouldn't necessarily use 1, 2, 3, those 3 layers in that particular, you'd use them in that order if you're going to use them together, but you wouldn't necessarily use each one. You might use the liner with the outer, for example, without the mid layer, right?
Exactly that. So, if it's just a wet day, but it's end of September or early October, and it's 10 degrees outside, you don't need all 3 of those gloves. That's probably your setup for sub 4 degree temperatures, because that's going to be very warm, that setup you've just shown. Whereas that setup you're just putting in now, that's going to be a really good option on a showery day in, you know, early
That's
autumn.
the liner with the outer.
Yeah, so that's a proper wet day. We do have a slightly different outer shell option as well, which is just extra flexible and packable. It's ideal for maybe like your spring races or your cyclocross racing, or if the weather, you're pretty certain it's not going to be very heavy prolonged rain.
So what have we got in this layer?
So this layer, we call this the shower light glove. It does exactly the same as the out dry light glove, but in terms of going over the other two layers, but because it's not it's not a glove with sealed seams, it just means that you can have extra flexibility. Now that glove doesn't actually have sealed seams, but it has got a membrane bonded into the glove, which, you know, obviously with this one, it's just a water resistant fabric with a membrane in there, but you obviously, if it was to be very, very heavy rain, it might let a bit of rain in. But you've got the choice is the idea.
Okay.
And we sell them as systems with one or the other.
That was
or
going to be
both.
my next question. How do you buy them then? Do you buy them all together, or do you buy the layer separately?
So you can buy completely whichever you prefer. Obviously, you might even have a Defeat glove already, and you might not want to have, you know, purchase another one. So you can buy the outer layers, you can buy the base layer, you can buy any of them. But also, we do sell them in systems of either the 3 layers or the 4 layers if you want both outer layers.
Sure.
So they range from £55 for the 3-layer system with the windproof glove, up to £95 with the full high-tech outer glove with the Schoeller fabric and everything, with both outer layers.
Both outer
And then
layers,
there's a
so
mid-price
between the
level
two.
at £85 with the fully waterproof out-dry
Great.
glove.
And available now?
They're available to pre-order now and delivery October week 4. So just in time for the worst weather, I'd say.
Right.
So hopefully we'll all have nice toasty warm fingers this winter.
Thanks. Thanks for that, Tom.
No worries.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for that.